Well, Congress has not said anything about what the courts have been saying from time to time. But I can explain that what the courts have said is certainly an important message from the highest at the level of judiciary. But these are not pronouncements. These are all obiter dicta. These are suggestions that the courts have made. The court will. It doesn't mean that if the matter comes back to the court to decide, then they will just simply say, oh, we are bound by what we said earlier, and therefore the Uniform Civil Code stands. The court will have to look at the consequences on fundamental rights of Article 44 and what exactly the UCC means. As far as my party is concerned, we've said two things, and I will clarify that. One, that the Law Commission, the previous Law Commission, 21st Law Commission, had examined this issue in great detail and had consulted a large number of people over a fairly long period and come to the conclusion that this is not advisable, that this is not necessary, etc., etc. Why should the 22nd Law Commission go into this afresh? We have not been told. Has there been some change of circumstances, some major event that causes a fresh look to revisit what has already been decided firmly by the Law Commission earlier? Then as far as the government is concerned, the government has been talking about UCC, but the government doesn't indicate what the UCC entails. So for us to have a position doesn't make sense. How do we take a position on something that we don't know? The UCC that the government has in mind may have some very sensible things which nobody will oppose. But the UCC could have things that go against the very idea of constitutional values, in which case you would have very vigorous opposition. So that's my party's position. Please, why hide something that you are proud of? Why don't you tell us what you intend to do, and you will have our response.
Well, Mr. Salman Khurshid, so let me ask you, you say the 21st Law Commission in 2018 said there is no need as of now for a UCC. I want to ask you, does that mean that time should stand still and 5 years later the matter cannot be revisited? Is there any legal impediment to revisiting the entire issue? So why is the objection?
No, not at all. Please don't. No, there's no objection. I didn't object. I just said we want to know why the issue is being revisited. Everybody does that. Even when the Supreme Court reviews its judgment, it gives reasons to say this is what has happened over the years, and that's why we want to review the judgment. Now, don't forget that the Supreme Court that once gave a judgment on habeas corpus during the emergency, many years later, 30 years later, the Supreme Court reversed it. And the judgment was given by Chief Justice Chandrachud. The judgment was reversed by a bench that had the present Chief Justice as a member, but not as a Chief Justice at that time. So reasons were given. In Puttaswamy, long paragraphs of reasons have been given why it was important to overrule the earlier habeas corpus judgment. So all we are saying is you must have some reasons, share the reasons with us, that's all. Who's objecting? We're only asking for reasons, that's all.
Well, Mr. Salman Khurshid, let me ask you, you're a congressman. Are you proud of the Shah Bano judgment and the way it was reversed through a parliament law that came in? Because...
I'm sorry. This is fake news at its worst. The Shah Bano judgment had a response from Parliament, which you say reversed the Shah Bano judgment. But the law that was passed by Parliament was finally upheld by the Supreme Court, 5 judges saying, yes, this is what we wanted done. You're saying that the Shah Bano judgment was reversed. The Supreme Court says, yes, this is what we wanted done. Now, tell the whole story. Who's to be proud and who's not to be proud is a separate matter. But the matter is clear that today's law of the land, upheld by the Supreme Court Constitution bench of 5 judges, approves what Indian Parliament had done. Now, you can't put intentions into Indian Parliament that the Supreme Court didn't notice.
Well, I'm a common citizen of this country, happen to be from the gender which seems to be at the receiving end of some of the personal laws that apply to women in various communities. And therefore, I ask without the legalese and say things as they're supposed to be and as they turn out to be in the understanding of the common man.
Fine.
How can you take objection to that?
Please. Wonderful. No, I'm not taking objections. I'm just saying that don't reduce yourself to the level of a common man who is not familiar with something that a person like you and I would know, because we have access to information.